Hello and welcome to the Crone Zone. I'm Lynn. We can't be unaware, can we, with all of the buzz on social media? Uh, we cannot be unaware of the upcoming eclipses and the fact that we are in a season of eclipses. And also that we've entered a new age. We are here now in the age of Aquarius. There's also, it's fair to say, an awful lot of planetary action happening in the month of April. But I guess my message here today is that we really need to step away from some of the fear mongering which is going on. I don't profess to know how the eclipses will manifest, in the outer world. But I am firmly of the belief that as above, so below, as within, so without, and that these eclipses are not something for me which is happening just out there. They are deeply personal to me, they are within me, and they are there for my development. These eclipses seem to me to be an intersection where a portal where we are invited to expand consciousness, and that it's there specifically for us. It's there to interact with us, with our consciousness, and for us to make the most of that and make leaps forward in our spiritual development. I've pulled some cards for the energies. Some of them I've selected myself because I think they perfectly represent the energies we're looking at. And a few of them I have taken, have come randomly from the deck in a shuffle. So the first of these has come randomly from the deck in a shuffle, and it's the Seven of Pentacles. And this is a very interesting card for me at the moment because just a detail in the complex picture of what's happening at the moment. On the 1st of April, Mercury went retrograde. And retrograde Mercury is an invitation to revisit things, to revise, to review, to look again, to slow down. I think that's a really important message. And this card here is very much about reviewing, assessing. Where am I? Where have I got to? How's this harvest looking? Am I pleased with it? Is it what I want it to be? Has it produced what's really valuable for me? From the harvest, what will be the seed? What must I really take forward? What must I keep? What actually can I leave behind and say, no, that's not what I want to take forward with me? So this card selected from the deck, I think, chimes perfectly with Mercury retrograde, with thinking about things and revisiting things. And also giving us a message. There's no hurry here. We can, no matter how fast the eclipse may seem to move, or what a jolt it seems to be into a future, we personally are invited by the Mercury retrograde to reflect. Don't be railroaded, don't be pushed. Go inwards, do your inner thinking and clear out those things which need to be cleared. There's no panic here. We can go forward in our own way with reflection, consciously taking our time. That's what we're invited to do here. Finding out what comes forward with me. What is really of value? What are the seeds, the seed here for the future, the seed crop? That from the crop I'm keeping to plant into the future. What goes ahead? Because remember, this is a new moon, this eclipse. It's a new moon in Aries, and new moons are seed times. So let's sort out what we really want to seed and not be rushed into any rash decisions. I think one of the dangers of all the Aries energy is that there's a temptation for people to be triggered, to lurch forward, um, and take action, to be angry. And I really think that it's a time for us to temper, to slow down a little, to stay steady, and to reflect. People sometimes become very fearful of eclipses, or they used to in the past anyway. I think we're growing a little away from that now, claiming our sovereignty and seeing ourselves less as passive reactors to things and more as active participants in events. The card that I did select consciously from the deck to represent all the changes that are going on now, both the change of the age into the age of Aquarius and also the eclipses, the eclipse at the moon's nodes. I think this card is the perfect one for it. We also have the Uranus Jupiter conjunction coming up on the 20th, which again I think is a great instigator of changes. Now, these changes are ones which are there, they are happening, they are portals, they are energy shifts. They are not something we control. What we control is our reaction to them. But I'd like to just show you the card here, and we have these strange creatures riding the outer rim of the wheel, the Sphinx sitting above the wheel, who holds the mystery there of why these changes are happening at all. There is a very clear message in this card. People say, oh, it's going to be a bumpy ride. It's going to be like a roller coaster. It's going to be like the wheel turning. And I've said this quite a few times before. If you are invested in the outer world, if you are living from the outside in, riding the outer rim of the wheel, it's going to be a very bumpy ride. The wheel is bringing up lots of things from the subconscious realm to worry us or disturb us. Lots are being thrown up at this time. And if you're living outside in, it could be a roller coaster ride. Maybe you like roller coasters. I really don't like roller coasters. At the center of the wheel, right here, the motion is much less. This is the centered self. This is the core of the self. This is the quiet place of peace inside all of us that we can tune into through our breathing, through meditation, through taking those quiet moments, for being with ourselves, for being still. And that is living from the inside out. And if we do that, we stay at the center of the wheel. And the hurly-burly is much, much less. I'd like to quote T.S. Eliot here from Four Quartets, who said, there, at the still turning point of the world, there the dance is. And I do see these eclipses as an invitation to a dance. And I will go further with that idea shortly. So, as that old saying goes, resistance is futile. We can try to resist the changes, but we won't really get very far. We can think that we can make this wheel spin in a rut in the mud, but that's just not going to work. We will be pushed out of the rut one way or another. Maybe we've been staying in a rut as not just individually, but as a species. And we need a steer now. And I see these eclipses as we're setting sail. we're being set on a true course. We may have gone off course. We may have got blown off course by who knows what, historic events or blunders of our own, anything and everything. But now we're having an opportunity to get nudged back on course. This is your true sailing direction. This is where you need to go. And I see this very much like a voyage, because for me, the vast subconscious world of spirit, of soul, is like the ocean. And here we are having this opportunity, steered by the stars, to go forward on a journey that's much truer, and a voyage of discovery, but into uncharted seas, into places that maybe we have never been before. And of course, that can feel frightening. And this is where we can sabotage ourselves, I think. Now, I'm not the bravest of people. You could probably tell that from my reference to not liking roller coasters. And I think the danger that we can have is feeling a little small. We want to be that little mouse in the wainscoting that's tucked away, and stay small because that's safe and that's known and that's okay. But I think the time has come now when we need to expand, like plants that need your root bound, into a bigger pot. And maybe that can feel a little bit frightening. I think we have to take a leap of faith. And one of the cards that I drew randomly from the deck was the Fool. And the Fool said, go on, jump in, do it. Don't be frightened. It may seem like, you're on a cliff edge, but you're okay. Take the jump. It's fine. No, I am aware here that I'm mixing metaphors a little, but these are complex subjects, and I hope you bear with me, and that we can follow the line through. So fear, and be aware as well that there's an awful lot of movement in the outer world to make you afraid, and some of it is consciously done. So do be aware of that, and don't let yourself fall too much into that, or into that at all, really. Now, and our own tendency to stay small. Don't play small. It's time to expand. You're being called to that. But other things that can factor in here is the fact that Chiron is journeying with all of this. And these are wounds coming up for healing. And I do have a video on Chiron and our wounds, and there isn't time to always repeat things that I've said before. So if you haven't seen that, I would ask you to look at it if you're interested, because it does explore how we can use that crack within us that doesn't heal as our biggest opportunity, how we can go forward, and that actually can be the driving motor that enables us to do that. As Leonard Cohen says, there's a crack in everything, and that's how the light gets in. So do explore that if you haven't already. We may also, just in a general way, feel wounded, incomplete, unworthy. We may have absorbed a lot of messages telling us those things. We may have been hurt. We may have hurt ourselves. And I do have a video available on healing the heart and restoring courage and self-confidence. Because the heart energy is absolutely essential to everything going on here. It is the answer to everything here. So let's unfold that a little more. So we're undergoing a sea change into something rich and strange. I think that really is the invitation that we have here. Now, I woke up the other morning, this is quite true, with the entire verses of the Owl and the Pussycat going through my head. And it was playing in the song form. There is a song to The Owl and the Pussycat. You may know it. It's the Nonsense poem by Edward Lear. And I thought, why? Why am I? What am I waking up for hearing this? And then it clicked. And it clicked at just how perfectly it was speaking to the transformation, the deep sea changes that are taking place at this precise moment. So, what are the owl and the pussycat? Well, the owl and the pussycat, we know, go to sea in a beautiful pea green boat, and we know green is the colour of the heart chakra. So there they are in a coracle, the green coracle, floating on the sea of the subconscious. And what is the owl and what is the pussycat? Well, it occurred to me they're the yin and the yang, the yin and the yang. They are the intellect and the body. They are the ego and the higher self. They are all those polarities that exist. And there they are together in a unity in the little boat, sailing away on these weird and wonderful seas and having adventures. And they decide that they will marry, they will come together. They will become a unity. And they need a ring for the wedding. And of course, they get that from the piggy wig with the ring in the end of his nose. So they take the ring, which has been the symbol of servitude, of being led by the nose like a beast. They take that ring and they use it as a wedding ring, and they marry. And the opposites are united. They become one. And then hand in hand, at the edge of the sand, which is the liminal space between the land and the ocean, between the solid world and the world of spirit and the unconscious, there on the edge of the sand, they dance by the light of the moon. How beautiful and perfect that seems to me. Nonsense or not, it worked for me. And it seems to tap completely into another card which I drew, which is this card, the Healing Angel, Temperance, which is a card of deep inner alchemy. This is a card of holding and melding and bringing together opposites. All the divisions and opposites can be held, integrated, transmuted, transformed. This is very much an inner process. And as I was saying with Mercury retrograde, it's not one to rush. This is very much a thing to do within, to take the time to do within. And just a little bit now about how this magic can work inside us, how the owl and the pussycat can have that marriage and dance by the light of the moon. Well, I think it's consciousness. I think it's allowing to come up recognition of energies inside of us and holding them in heart energy. This is why I say the heart is so completely essential here. You don't transform anything with your mind or with an act of will, or it's not the way it works. It works by making space in your heart, forgiving, making space in your heart, allowing things simply to be and holding them in their contradictions, in their imperfections, in their faults, just allowing the space to forgive other people, to forgive yourself, to allow the tensions, the dichotomies, the light and the dark, the feminine, the masculine, the inner, the outer, the owl, the pussycat, all of it, just to allow it space there. And then the alchemy happens from grace. Quite how, I don't know, but I know it can, and it does. So this is where keeping the heart open is so vitally, vitally important. So I think that allowing Mercury, this Mercury retrograde, to help us with these processes of self refinement, of going inwards, of working our own inner alchemy like this, is exactly what we need. And it will lead to another card that came out of the deck randomly, which is a sword of truth, which is our own truth, which is our true steer and the direction that we are meant to go on. So I think for me, it's about thinking about those inner things, staying at the inner aspect of the wheel. The wheel revolves. These are revolutions. These are movements around. But I think that we can turn revolution by these means into evolution, into our own spiritual evolution, and seize this evolutionary opportunity. And if we allow these changes in ourselves, then we are fractals of the whole. We are fractals, and in changing what's within, we do change the whole. We change what's without. So just leave you with some words of Shakespeare. This sea change, we've suffered a sea change into something rich and strange. And I hope that you can find a place of quietness within you, and that our hearts, all of our hearts, can open and hold a space there to enable growth for us all in these really important times, and that we can see what may be frightening as actually times of huge opportunity. So I'll leave you with that thought. And before I go, I'd just like to say a big welcome to the new subscribers to the channel. It has been the support and the kind words of subscribers from the beginning that have kept me going on this tiny channel, and made me know, well, no, you're not whistling into the wind. There are people there, and for some of them, this is helpful. And that's everything that I need to know. So thank you very much, and everybody's really, really welcome. Thank you.